What's up, everybody? Welcome to DMW Sports. We are here for the Week 10 Power Rankings. Happy to dive into it. Obviously, we got some interesting movement with some of the top teams that we had going into this week losing, and obviously now a lot of shuffling as we get to really the midway point, and some big trades end up happening. I have a video coming out as far as a trade deadline recap as well, and what I think will be the most impactful move. I'm going to start with the Los Angeles Rams that come in at my number one spot here as far as the Super Bowl contenders tier. Just came out of the bye week after drumming the Jaguars previously. Was at home, obviously dominated the Saints without any issues. Nothing really to report back there. We'll see how they kind of deal with some of the more tougher games that they have coming up. Eagles, also on the bye week, nothing to say really as far as that is concerned. But they have an interesting game on the road in Green Bay against the Packers coming up on Monday Night Football. I'm very interested to see how that ends up turning out. Bills, big win against the Chiefs at home, obviously coming off the Panthers victory. Won by a score, I would say handled the game, definitely showed up as far as the trenches were concerned. Chiefs had serious issues, in my opinion, on the defense side of the ball, being able to deal with Josh Allen and specifically this rushing attack, especially on the ground, in which they were able to attack them, then also use the play action pass as well to get after them. Rough game for Chiefs defense. Obviously, the Bills pressured Mahomes on over 50% of the dropbacks, affected his game. I didn't like the game plan from Andy Reid, but it tip of the cap to the way that the Bills were able to work around some of the defensive issues that they had in the past and be able to take advantage of some of the weaknesses that the Chiefs specifically had. We'll be interested if we get this movie again in January. Chiefs go into the bye week now outside the playoff picture and have a lot of work to do as they will come out against the Broncos and Colts their first two games after the bye week. We'll see. Bills roll on, coming out of that bye week very strong with a 2-game win streak and into the Super Bowl contenders tier with Josh Allen. Detroit Lions, kind of a disappointing, close home loss in the division to the Minnesota Vikings that came out with a renewed effort, obviously with J.J. McCarthy. Something to watch to see how they continue to move on. You see them there in the French playoff teams. They're at 500, outside the playoff picture for right now. But in a tough NFC, are they this team that with J.J. McCarthy is a winning team, or are they the team that is more of up and down and just not necessarily ready to go on that run? Something to watch, because everything looked like it fell into place, certainly against the Detroit Lions on Sunday, and the ways in which they were able to, I don't want to say dominate that game, but it felt like they were in control of that, even though it was a little bit of a closer margin than that would suggest. Now, you want to talk about a team that dominated. The Seattle Seahawks absolutely destroyed the Commanders on Sunday Night Football. It was not close. It was utterly ridiculous what the Seattle Seahawks offense was able to do. And we just have too large a sample size of Seattle being really good on both sides of the ball for them not to be in a Super Bowl contenders tier, in my opinion. And specifically because the team that I have dropping out of here, I think that they deserve to be up there with the other four teams or the other three teams, I'll say, in the NFC that I think I could see coming out. Colts, disappointing. I said I wanted to see them go on the road, handle the Steelers like they should have as a complete team. Instead, they had a disappointing effort, specifically from the turnover perspective. Some of them fluky, some of them still self-inflicted, but all the same, they did go on the road and have a tough loss to the Pittsburgh Steelers that really were in control of that game. Colts did make a little bit of a comeback, but ultimately, 6 turnovers is 6 turnovers. So for now, they stay in the solid playoff teams tier, and we'll see if they have other opportunities to move up. Obviously, they will have a date with the Chiefs coming up soon. Packers, like I said, unfortunately, a loss that, in my opinion, does drop them down from multiple avenues. First, I talked about the importance of Tucker Kraft and how he emerged as the most important weapon in this offense. He's gone for the season with the ACL. The reality situation is they struggled with Tucker Kraft in this game versus the Panthers. They struggled without Tucker Kraft in this game with the Panthers. I think the Panthers are a fine team, middle of the pack, obviously above 500. You should not lose that game at home if you're going to be a Super Bowl contender. That's just the way it is. I can forgive one of those losses like they had against the Browns. I cannot forgive two of those. They go down to the solid playoff teams, and I'm concerned about what this team is going to look like with no Tucker Kraft moving forward. Patriots, go ahead. A close game with the Falcons. Probably shouldn't have been close. Certainly could have gone to overtime, given the fact that the Falcons ended up missing an extra point, and that being the real difference between it going to overtime and not. I like the things that the Patriots are doing. I don't feel amazing about them just yet. Kind of where I'm at with it, but we'll see. They do have a date with the Buccaneers coming up here that's going to be very interesting to watch. Broncos, another close victory, to say the least. Go on the road at the Houston Texans. Defensive battle, as was expected. kind of struggled offensively as was expected. No major moves to speak of, so we can't say that anything's going to change mightily there. Keep them in the solid playoff teams. We'll see if they can work their way up in the upcoming weeks as well. Like I said, Buccaneers get to have the Patriots out of the bye week. For them, going to be interesting to see how they handle that. Steelers get an impressive victory at home versus the Colts. Definitely deserve to go from fringe playoff team to solid playoff team, in my personal opinion. But I would not say that they are completely solidified, given the fact that the Ravens continue to make this more of a race, and I think that will continue to happen as we get down the stretch here. Chargers. Okay. The Chargers go on the road, fine victory over the Tennessee Titans. I cannot ignore the elephant in the room. Joe Alt getting hurt, lost for the season. They are down both their tackles with him and Slater gone. This is going to be very difficult. They're a much different team with Joe Alt in the lineup compared to without Joe Alt in the lineup. This is going to be a tough task for them down the stretch here to hold on to a playoff spot and try and stay off some of the other teams, obviously like the Jaguars, obviously like the Chiefs, obviously like the Ravens, that are going to be gunning for that wild card spot. Man, boy, that is a tough loss for them. Even though they end up getting the win, the Titans, will see how they continue to move forward as far as that is concerned. 49ers go on the road, handle the Giants. Nothing for me to push them higher. They should have. So I'm just going to leave them right where they are. Nothing for me to push them any higher. We'll see what happens as they get a little bit healthier, as you would assume, as Mac Jones continues to play in absence of Brock Purdy. We'll see what happens down the stretch there. Jaguars able to go on the road, have a very close victory over the Raiders, who obviously I don't have a lot of respect for as far as the team is concerned. So again, staying in the French playoff team tier, but they are not impressing me on a weekly basis. I got to say that. Ravens do a solid job at being able to handle the Miami Dolphins on Thursday Night Football. No real surprise there as far as that is concerned. Lamar Jackson looked good in his return. Nice to see how the offense was able to operate with him. We'll see how things evaluate in the coming weeks. Vikings, good job on the road. Lions, like I said, going to be an interesting thing to see. Are they this team with J.J. McCarthy as a winning record, or are they more of a 500 team up and down? We'll see. Bears win an incredible shootout with the Bengals. Still have a lot of concerns about the defense, to say the least. Offense obviously got the benefit of a bad Bengals defense to go up against. Yeah, they're up and down. I got to see them versus some good competition and actually get a win, in my personal opinion, before I really believe in them as a French playoff team that could be in the hunt in a tough NFC that they're going to have to try and take one of these teams out. Texans had an opportunity for a really big home victory that really would have helped what it looked like down the stretch for them to try to make it into playoffs. Not getting that victory over the Broncos is going to make it very difficult for them. Still, defense showed up. Offense was predictably sluggish against a good Broncos defense, even without Patrick Surtain II. But the ultimate story of the game is CJ Stroud goes out with the concussion. The offense looked like it might have been functional with them in there, and to have that be, maybe possibly the thing that ends their season from a lot of perspective by any hope of them coming back, that would be a tough pill to swallow, unfortunately, if that does happen to CJ Stroud and the Texans. But that's where they're going to be in the hunt, and we'll see if he can get back quickly as far as moving forward is concerned. Cardinals in the hunt on the road, beat the Cowboys. Interesting opponent, interesting win to say the least. Jacoby Brissett does another good job, and obviously seems like he has now won the starting job. It seems like for the rest of the season, he has played better than Kyler Murray to this point. Has operated the offense well, and as honestly, Jonathan Gannon wants to win games. So yes, they're going to say that, hey, there's a little bit of a foot issue, and maybe that helps out in making a decision. Reality of the situation is, right now, Jacoby Brissett is the best quarterback for the Cardinals, and that's why he's going to be starting for at least for the foreseeable future. And you understand why they're keeping him in place. Falcons tried to go on the road. Made the competitive game with the Patriots. Don't want to punish them for anything like that, but staying in the hunt. Panthers, really impressive victory over the Packers to make that a rock fight and able to ugly it up. And hey, they're over 500. They're in the hunt. If they keep pushing their way up there, there's not going to be really much of a choice as far as that is concerned. Like I said, Bengals, close shootout victory, end up losing. Commanders get destroyed. Cowboys, disappointing loss at home to the Cardinals. Really had a chance to assert themselves as trying to make a comeback and be competitive. I know they made some moves that I'll talk about, but I think it'll be a little bit all for naught as far as what will be possible for them to move up as far as the NFC race is concerned. Giants still trying to tread water. Obviously got beat at home by the Niners, is what it is. Browns, they are what they are on the bye week. Raiders, competitive game with Brock Bowers back, something to watch to see how things look for their offense, specifically down the stretch here with Brock. But other than that, not much to report back. Still a bad team. Same thing for the Dolphins. Obviously, having a little bit of sell as far as some of the pieces are concerned. We'll see how things move for the rest of the season as far as they're concerned. Move off of the GM. Mike McDaniel sounds like he's going to be given the rest of the year. Something to watch for them as far as that is concerned. Saints, bad. Continue to be bad. Jets, bad, continue to be bad, and Titans, terrible, continue to be terrible. So that is your week 10 power ranking. Stay on the lookout. We're going to have a trade deadline recap and